clients with a lot of grandiosity. They might be presenting like this because they want to connect with you through that grandiosity, but they also might be repelling you. Okay, so they might be trying to push away from you with that grandiosity. And at the outset, as a clinician, you may not know the difference. All you see is maybe these narcissistic traits, and you see this inflated ego and this grandiosity, but you're not going to necessarily know the function at the outset. One way to figure out what's happening with these clients and which it is it to repel me or is it to pull me in, is to validate them. Now you got to be really careful about this, because sometimes when you over-validate these clients, you end up colluding with them and enabling some narcissistic behavior that may not be working so well for them in their lives and in the lives of people around them. But if the goal is to connect with you, then when you can validate, yes, you are bright, yes, you are successful, yes, you are worthy, what you're going to usually see is a little bit of a exhale, a little bit of a breathing easy, like, thank goodness. Okay, she sees, or he sees my worth. And you're going to see the grandiosity go down with the validation. And in that case, that's actually going to be a lot easier to work with, because when you see the grandiosity inflate, you already know how to ease the defenses. What can be a little bit more challenging, though, is the clients who are using the grandiosity to push away from you, to avoid connecting with you. Because when this happens, when you continue to validate this person's grandiosity, they just keep escalating it higher. Okay, so it does not seem to work. So for these clients, you may need a whole other strategy. For these clients, a lot of times they may be seeing you as the clinician as someone who's a threat in terms of a power differential or the power struggle. If inferiority underlies their narcissism or their grandiosity, they don't want to go to a clinician who they feel has power over them. That's going to make them feel inferior. In fact, you may be seeing these narcissistic traits even more so than some of the other people in their lives. You're going to see it in full force because of the nature of this relationship. So you trying to address it directly, or you even trying to validate it, it's almost like you're pulling yourself at their level, and this is going to make them uncomfortable. Some clients, at least, uncomfortable. So with these clients, it can be a very tricky thing, but you may want to watch trying to take over the session. So sometimes I'll talk to clinicians. I do a lot of consultation with clinicians, and they'll say, well, I feel like session after session is just the same thing. And if I try to say, hey, can we work on this? Or can we do CBT? Or can we do EMDR? I get immense pushback right away. It's like they don't want me. They've hired me to be the professional, the expert, and yet they don't want me in this role. So what you may have to do is, first of all, accept at the outset that this may be a fairly long process. And to also know that they may insist on guiding the session, and what you're trying to do is follow them, and every now and then take a little bit of a detour slightly toward a slightly different place. So for instance, they may be talking again about how they were successful and someone at work just didn't see it. And this person is obviously just not very intelligent. What you might try to begin doing slowly over time is ask them to engage in mentalization. So what I mean by that is taking another person's perspective. And it's not important that this perspective is accurate at all, but you might just insert the question, what do you think that coworker was thinking in that moment? What do you think that coworker was feeling in that moment? That, in a small way, is beginning to take them out of that narcissistic space where everything is about them and revolving around them, and putting them in someone else's mindset. So you can begin to do this over time when you see that the validating is actually maybe making them worse.